I am Nicole Paulino, and I've been teaching in the School District of Philadelphia at C.W. Henry School for 15 years. And this was our first year with Music in the Brain. We started in March. We are a Title I school. We have approximately, I'd say, in the upper school, about 85 to 90% African American. In the lower school, it's lower. It's about 70-30. As we get into the middle school, the students come from all different areas of the city, so we find ourselves having to kind of start over at the 6th grade point so that we can kind of train the students the way that we have expectations at our school. We have a choral program, orchestra, band. We have general music, which involves singing, dancing, theater, music, guitar, and now piano. And we do a musical production every year. We have 2 choral concerts a year. We perform throughout the community with the choir, and we have a dancing program in the spring. So far, in the few months that we had it, I love it. I think it's a nice way to tie in all of the different activities that I do and have like a culmination at the end to have something that the students can show to people. Often in my classroom, everything's experiential, so there's not much that they can take home besides just the knowledge that I've given them. If we learn a dance, they can take the dance home and singing, but there's no like finality in the general music classroom. So having Music in the Brain is really nice because we can have recitals. Then that also really makes the children have a nice sense of self and pride in themselves. I had a 7th grade class try it as an experiment. They're probably one of my most difficult behavior classes, and within 2 class periods they were silent, they were engaged. Even the ones that didn't want to do it at first, I kind of made them try it, and then once they tried it, they didn't want to tell me that they were interested, but they definitely were interested. And so I find we don't have many behavior problems in the lower school per se, but the ones that I do, especially students with special needs, emotional needs, things like that, this is a really great program to just tune them into one particular area and just focus on it so that they can have from week to week something to build on and see their progress in themselves without anyone having to tell them, which is great self-motivation. I love the structure. It's very similar to, minus the piano playing portion, it's a similar structure to what I've kind of already been doing. I'm Dalcroze Kodai and Orff trained and Gordon trained, so I've noticed in this program there's many little snippets of all of those different pedagogies, which I personally love, because I don't find that any one pedagogy is good for any type of learner. The students need differentiation, and so to have this program where sometimes they're moving, sometimes they're reading, sometimes they're playing, sometimes they're singing, it gives every single kid in the room a type of confidence, because you might have a kid not want to sing but would thrive in the dancing and the piano playing. So every child has a chance to shine, whether it be as a class or as an individual. And the sequencing is just really nice because it makes the time flow. It makes the kids know that they have expectations to follow, and they have certain, subsets that they have to meet to get to the next section. So it's really nice as a teacher to be able to just kind of spell it out for them at the beginning, let them they get excited about what they're going to learn that day. And I think it's just really, all different types of kids need different types of structure. So with this nice differentiated style that Music in the Brain has, it really kind of hones in on what every child needs. Absolutely. To speak just to the autistic support room that I have, we went on that on day 1, and I have it's a very eclectic class. I have 4 students. One of them has perfect pitch and has never been involved in music. So he's already, he was 5 pages into the book just by just by, you know, watching what I was doing, listening to the cues, and just having a great ear that he had, he was really progressing far. Another student in that class has a lot of tactile issues, so being able to sit with him at the keyboard and help him to touch the actual keys was really nice for him, and it also gave us a good sense of assessment to see how his gross motor skills are improving over time. I'm excited to start it next year because we're getting a kindergarten autistic support class, and so I think that's going to be really, really good for just further progressing what they're doing in their classroom, but just adding a musical element to it. I think it's something that you definitely don't have to be skeptical about. I'm a very, very harsh critic, and I've yet to find anything really in this program that I don't agree with. I love the freedom of it. So if you feel, when I went to the training, I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to have the autonomy in my classroom that I previously had for 14 years. That's not true at all. You can take what is given to you and formulate it into what you love, and it's just a really nice working relationship. And you also get tons of supplementary materials and workshop training, and just always being in touch with the Music and the Brain administration so that you are getting the newest and most up-to-date information. So you're never alone, and there's already 7 of us, I think, in Philadelphia, so we're here to help as well. And I really can't say anything bad about this program. I love it. They're very generous to give us all of the things that we've received for our classrooms that would not be possible without the funding. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially in Philadelphia, but to any music teacher, I think it's a wonderful program. I'm really excited to do recitals. I already have a plan of how to do them. I'm going to do a concert series. I'm really, really, really excited about that. Most of my performance-based programming at school is after-school programming, things in the evenings. Not every student can be a part of that because of size, you know, the size of the theater program, or that they take a bus and they are not able to stay after school. So having this program is going to be really exciting for the kids that never get to be a part of my extracurricular activities. Having candlelit recitals and having, you know, coffee and hors d'oeuvres, it makes a nice touch. Makes the parents feel special, it makes the school feel special, it sets us aside. And I'm really, really excited about that. You know, we've only been in the program a few months, so we haven't delved into a lot of it, but from the training, I will say I have notes upon notes of the awesome songs that are offered. I am very large into multicultural studies, and it's a big part of my life and a big part of my classroom. So that was another skeptical point I had doing this program, because I wasn't sure what style of music was going to be offered, but it's literally anything you can think of. There's gospel, there's you know, African, there's Latino, there's folk songs, there's classical music. I mean, there's literally something for every style, every genre, every decade, every century that you can use in this, and then bring in live music to supplement it, or video of, you know, an opera or an orchestral piece. So there's lots of different ways to study the world through this program, which is very important in this day and age. This political climate, the world climate, is very important for students to know what, you know, how to appreciate each other, how to appreciate the world, and we do it through music. So it's really nice to be able to communicate to everyone, because obviously music is the world language, and it's fun to be able to open up students' eyes to that. I'm horrible at teaching notation. I'm a really good teacher, I will tell you that. Notation is one of my most difficult, not because I don't know how, I'm Code certified, but when you have a class once a week for 45 minutes, and there's 35 of them, it's really hard to get every kid to learn how to read notes, because they're at all different academic levels, processing levels. So I've already had an easier time in the 3 months that I started Music in the Brain to get the kids to understand Music in the Brain teaches it in different ways. They don't just say this is an A. They show you with your hands, then they show you through different sounds and different ways to explain it without actually saying that this is the note name, and then you get to the note name. So the students are learning holistically an approach to reading music that they might not even realize they're doing. And then a few weeks in, when they're realizing they're a few pages into the book and they're like, oh wait, I can read music and this is really interesting, and now it's like I can read words and now I can read music, so it's like another language that I'm learning. I find it, yeah, I just think it's a really great approach that's not one pedagogy centered, that allows the kids to just understand on a different level that they wouldn't have understood without using this program.